The Rose Bowl is tradition, and it's you know, that feeling when you come out of the tunnel and you know, you can kind of just think back of all the games that have been played there. I'm a lot more comfortable in the Rose Bowl setting. I think that's what college football is all about, and you know, we're excited to be back here.
Last year we played a very good football team to a very close finish. They were one of two teams that ended up being undefeated in the Division I football last year, and number 2 in the country. We lost by a couple points, so didn't get it done. I know that I'm 2-3 in bowl games, postseason bowl challenges, so get me back to 3-3 as a head football coach, and the biggest thing is it would leave a very good taste in your mouth from this point moving forward.
You know, Coach Bielema doesn't want to lose 2 consecutive Rose Bowls. What an experience it is to be there in any capacity. It is indeed the granddaddy of them all. Tom Pippen's with you again on the Blitz. We have Tim Van Voorn at Lambeau Field. He's been there since this morning. No truth to the rumor that he's been practicing Lambeau leaps for the last few hours. We'll rejoin him in just a few moments. We want to bring in Jen Lada because it has been over a month since the 2 teams, Oregon and Wisconsin, have played. And Jen, in one of your reports, you brought up the good point. There may be a little rust here, even with these 2 high-powered offenses.
Neither team can afford rust when they take to the field tomorrow for the Rose Bowl. As you stated, these are 2 very high-powered offenses. So much talk this week about how Oregon runs their offense. It is very unique. In fact, I was talking to somebody from the Oregon newspaper who said that he has used his stopwatch and will occasionally time the time between a dead play and the next time that quarterback Darren Thomas gets the ball, and it will often be less than 10 seconds. And he says that's with them making personnel changes, and that's why it's so difficult for opposing defenses to scheme against them. Brett Bielema saying that the 4 weeks will make a huge difference and that they've been working at a very high and fast clip in order to combat that, but it is difficult to mimic in practice. He does believe his team will be ready for this, though, and he wants to remind people that the combination of Russell Wilson and Monty Ball has made them very prolific as well, and they are considered by some to be the most dangerous play-action team in the country. Monty Ball certainly capable of chewing up the yardage, but if you don't want to let him run, Russell Wilson is happy to take shots at his receivers as well. That's why some people think that this game could break the record for most points scored in a Rose Bowl, which I believe was 80 points back in 1991, since both of these offenses average over 40 points per game. I think it's 46 for Oregon and 44 plus for the Badgers.
Jen, a salient point you made earlier is the way Oregon can score. It's like a point a minute. You want to keep their offense off the field, so it would seem that 28, Monty Ball, and we're watching him here, and then we'll get into Russell Wilson eventually. Both those fellas have to play well, but also you want Ball just to keep that ball so that they consume the clock and keep the Ducks offense on the sidelines, huh?
Right. If you can keep the Ducks offense on the sideline, that means that their defense is on the field for a long time and will have to combat the Badgers offense. And look, the Badgers are one of the best teams in the country when it comes to third down conversions. I believe they have about 53%. They are able to convert 53% of them, which is very good, much better than the Oregon Ducks offense, which, as you stated, does like to go down the field rather quickly. The Badgers would rather crank down the tempo a little bit, maybe bring it to a little bit of a halt. They've had almost a dozen drives this year that have been 5 minutes or longer, and they hope to utilize some of that when they play on Monday afternoon.
If Aaron Rodgers had arguably the greatest single season by a Packers quarterback, you could say the same about Russell Wilson. Touched by your sharing a story on Saturday that somehow, some way, even though Wilson's father has passed away, they talked about his son having an opportunity to play in this sort of a wonderful environment. Number 16, I think, is ready. I would be shocked if he didn't play maybe his best game, Jen.
He does seem to like the big stage, of course, having a very good game in the Big Ten championship game, and again has benefited from that offensive line. We talk about how great Russell Wilson is, and he is a supreme talent. Maybe not the tallest guy out there, but he can see over that offensive line, which is impressive when you consider that they rival most NFL squads in size. And they've been a big reason why Ball has had success making huge holes for him and protecting Russell Wilson. But you have to remember, he is able to scramble as well, and it was that added dimension coupled with his accuracy accuracy that made him so good this year. I expect him to have a very good game. I know that I mentioned his father. They had conversations before he passed on about, wouldn't it be great to see you in a Rose Bowl? And at the time when he was at NC State, his family didn't really think it was a possibility. Then all of the dominoes kind of start falling, and here he is in the Rose Bowl. And he said, as he said in the Big Ten championship game, that his father will have the best seat in the house.
Absolutely very close to his son's heart. That is for certain. Jen, finally, just a quick comment about how you feel. It seems to me this team is as primed as they can possibly be, because many of them are still seething from the way in which they lost the Rose Bowl a year ago to a TCU team that came in as an underdog.
That is absolutely true. Certainly has been addressed this week as well. Aaron Henry, I mentioned earlier in a report, said that he was devastated. Now, he didn't have a great game against TCU, and people certainly haven't let him forget it, but he hasn't forgotten it either, and said that this game, winning on Monday, will be vital to his class's legacy. So they are certainly placing a lot of emphasis on winning this game. As you stated, they didn't want to come back to Pasadena and walk away with back-to-back losses, and they would like to get it for Paul Chryst as well. Obviously, speaking of the offensive players, who is leaving for Pitt, he will be coaching in his last game as a Wisconsin Badger, and the offense knows that he is a big reason why they're here, why they had so much success this year, why other teams feared playing the Wisconsin Badgers, and they want to make sure that he goes out on a high note.
Yeah, and I think that could work in their advantage, no question. Jen, like you've been with the team every single day since camp back in August. Thank you. We'll look forward to coming back to you on the Rose Bowl. Going to take a timeout on the Blitz and then talk about playoff momentum. I would say at 15-1, the way they performed lately, the Packers have it. Tim Van Voren's our man of the Blitz. More after this.